Okay, guys, here's the problem. We learn a move from coach, we drill a move from coach, and then we try that move in a live roll and it doesn't work. And why didn't it work? Well, there's really only two options. It's either number one, stupid move, and it's possible, right? However, it's probably more likely, 99% of the time, going to be number two, which is you were missing and I was missing key details to make that move work. Now, when we talk about details, what do we mean? Insert principles. You see, principles are the thing that molds and gels all of our jujitsu, all that knowledge, all those variable moves and positions. It molds them together. And when we begin to understand principles, we understand details that help us actually be successful in the moves we learn. But we must understand the principles. Now, there's so many we can talk about, and as a brown belt, I can tell you I'm starting to pay attention. They're all over the place. Now, for today, we're going to talk about three of them. Let's get into it right now. All right, in no particular order, the first principle that's on my mind right now is timing, because the right move at the wrong time equals wrong move. Timing is so crucial, and you can do the right movement too early, doesn't work. The right movement a little too late, doesn't work. There's a sweet spot in here, and there's a small window of time, depending on the move. Some moves have a smaller window than others, but you got to hit it at just the right moment. And so I want to encourage you to think about timing of your moves. And don't get discouraged if a move is not working. Ask yourself the question, did I have my timing right? Was I too early? Was I too late? If that's the case, we got to develop our timing to have success. All right, principle number two is space. That's right. I heard early on that so much of jiu-jitsu is learning to create space, but also learning to take space away. And I heard that at a white belt level, and I'm a brown belt now. And I think one thing that's interesting is early on, I understood that space to be a drastic change. And the further I get in the journey, I realize that there's so many micro details that really, when you're talking about creating and taking away space, it's in the tiniest of ways to have success, maybe getting out of side control or cinching up that arm triangle. There's all kind of things that we can apply this to in all of our jiu-jitsu. And as you go further, you're going to realize that it's not always massive movements. It's the smallest of things, creating just a little bit of space, taking away just a little bit of space. Every breath they let out is just a little more space gone. So think about that as you develop your jiu-jitsu. Are you creating and taking away space even in the smallest of ways? Learn to think about that and you'll benefit from it. All right, the third principle I want to tell you about might surprise you a little bit, and that is the principle of angles. Something interesting happened to me recently. I was trying to move, and the coach said, hey, no, not this way, just here. Slight angle change, and guess what? The move worked. And I thought, are you kidding me? That's all it took. I was doing the right movement. I was doing it at the right time, but I did not have the right angle. And that's one thing that's interesting about principles are it takes an understanding of all of them working together in cohesion. And now you start getting really good at jiu-jitsu. So again, maybe you've got the right movement, maybe you've got the right time, but do you have the right angle? Here's an example, the upa. I'm under someone's mount. I've got to get out. Well, that bridge and roll that is highly effective, even at the highest of levels, I was not going the right angle. So even in brown belt, I'm developing and fine-tuning my upa. I want to develop that. And it's the slightest change of angle to do just that. So I want to challenge you to think about angles. All right, guys, that's just three principles. There are obviously so many more in jiu-jitsu, from connection and base. There's all these things that we have to think about. And so I want to encourage you, pay attention to principles. They are the gel that helps you to connect all the dots of these moves you're learning. Until next time, I want to encourage you to subscribe to the channel. I want to keep content coming your way that's going to benefit you and your jiu-jitsu journey.